Well, hello everyone. We are live. It is Friday. I think a summer Friday of all things. Good morning, Megan. How are you?
Doing good.
Doing good?
Really good. Yes. Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday.
Let us know where you're tuning in from. My name is Megan. I'm a product manager here at Vicasso.
And my name's Howard. I'm the director of product at Vicasso. And what, pray tell, do we have on the agenda, Megan?
Awesome. Yeah. So today we're going to go over an overview of the Connected app. What is it? Why you need it? We'll talk about some frequently asked questions, some questions you might have around the Connected app, and then we're going to go through step by step and configure this in a demo org. But before we get into that fun stuff, we of course have to show our forward-looking statement.
Yes, it is fair to say that all of my statements are forward-looking. So if you ever talk to me, just know that anything that I say, do not make purchase decisions based on what I say. That said, in general, we're not a publicly traded company, so we don't have that. But I do want people to know that, obviously, forward-looking statements, it's a thing.
Perfect. So yeah, let's get into it. So what is a Connected app? Why do we need it? What is it? So as a Salesforce partner on the App Exchange, we regularly submit our products for security reviews. We want to make sure we're giving you the most secure products available. And Salesforce recently updated its requirements to state that managed packages like us implement a secure way for Salesforce to keep track of two things. One being any metadata that's altered by third parties, we're a third party, and two, to keep track of any org-wide configuration changes. For example, if you're changing an inbound email address in Email to Case Premium, they just want to know about it. We want to keep track of those changes. And that can be extremely helpful. So if you've ever had a support case with us, we've needed to get Salesforce involved, this can help streamline that a little bit and really open up that visibility. And we want to make sure we're providing the most secure products possible. So starting in version 9.28 of Email to Case Premium and version 6.44 of Case Flags, you're going to now see a Connected app configuration in the setup wizard. And we have complete documentation. We're going to run through that today and give you the step-by-step instructions to configure that.
Awesome. Now, one of the things when we first started looking at this Connected app, there were a number of immediate questions that we had, and we want to just go through those questions with you because you probably have them. So let's talk about it. So the first question is who needs this, Megan?
Yeah, absolutely. So today, Email to Case Premium and Case Flags customers need this and have this in their setup starting in those two versions I just mentioned. So our last push upgrade for summer 24 of Email to Case Premium, if you receive that upgrade, you have the Connected app in your setup. For Case Flags, version 6.44 and later, that's going to be included in our push upgrade in the fall, and some other Vicasso products will have this Connected app as well.
Got it. Now, what happens if I don't do anything? What if I just ignore the instructions that we're going to give you today? If I just don't configure it?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So current functionality will not be affected and the application will continue to run. That's really important. There's no hard stop, nothing will turn off, nothing will break, but any edits when you go into the setup wizard is going to be disabled. So you won't be able to edit any future changes in the setup wizard, but functionality in the application will still continue.
Got it. What happens if the certificate expires? We're setting up a certificate. What happens?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we'll walk through those steps, but certificates are only valid for 1 year. So you will need to refresh that certificate to make changes in the setup wizard. So when, let's say we set it up today, a year from now, when you go into the setup wizard, we're going to show a caution symbol, and we're going to give you a button to direct right to that manage certifications, and you'll be able to re-upload that certification. And if anyone was worried, I know the next question is going to be, okay, well, what if it expires? What happens? And nothing will happen to current functionality. Again, it's going to affect any settings you're going to make in that setup wizard, but it won't be a hard stop. Nothing will turn off. Nothing will break.
Got it. And realistically, I think about it this way. If you need to change something, the change is what requires the security there, not the ongoing functionality of the app. So will other apps of ours have this in the future? I mean, I'm thinking yes.
Yes, absolutely. So Simple Survey and Case Merge Premium are going to be next in our queue. That's going to have the connected app shortly. We also anticipate that other Salesforce partners may implement something similar. Of course, this is a security thing. They want to be compliant. I would say, Howard, we're a little ahead of the game in making sure that this is configured. But again, work with your partners to see if they require something similar.
Yeah, and again, this is something that because we're native, we want to be on top of this rather than waiting until it's forced on us. So, hey, some of our customers have more than one product. Do we need to create a connected app for each product, or can I just create one?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can do either. You can create one single connected app and you can use those credentials. So if you have multiple apps from Vicasso, you can then call it Vicasso Apps and you can use that credential for every one of your applications. However, the downside to this is that if you look at Audit Trail, you're not going to be able to determine what specific app. So you'll see in our instructions, we're going to name something case flags. We're going to name something email to case premium. You won't be able to get that granularity if you only set up one.
And we've got one more question from the audience. And Frankie, or we know Frankie, is this something Salesforce requires for GovCloud orgs that use managed packages? It's fair to say that this is for all managed packages, so it will definitely affect government cloud orgs. Arguably, this is just great security practice across the board in terms of how the changes in metadata is being handled in the org. So yes, this will be something that you'll have to configure in normal production orgs and government cloud orgs as well. So that's a great question. Thank you, Frankie, for asking that. We love that. I'm double checking the chat just to make sure that I'm not missing anything that's going in there. But I think we're ready to do a demo, Megan, because there's nothing better than just watching us go through the steps of doing this. And is it there's a lot of steps, aren't there?
Yeah, so it's fair to say this is an 18-step process, but I will warn everybody that a lot of these steps are just to save, to continue, to make sure you're naming the right things. So again, you may see this documentation and say, wow, that's a lot. But as you'll see, it's really a completely guided step-by-step. Won't take very long, as you'll see.
It's funny because I've done this in my own orgs, and it's something where it's like, just follow the steps, because each step is like, click save, go find this thing. They're all very, very basic. So let's get into it. And I'm just going to make sure that that link is over here in all the places so that everybody can get that documentation. Best thing you can do, have the documentation up in one window, have your org up in the other window, and follow along. So let's just jump over and let's go through that. Megan, walk us through.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to start in Salesforce setup. So if you're not at this page, you can get there by clicking on the gear icon and you'll see the setup. You'll be brought here. And the first thing you want to look in the quick find is security. So under security, there's going to be a certificate and key management section. And I'm going to click on the create self-signed certificate button. Perfect. So this is where we talk about the label. So if you have multiple apps, you want to name it Vicasso, but for this example, we're going to call it case flags. The unique name is going to populate, and we're going to keep this exportable private key checked, and key size is going to stay. We're going to hit save.
Awesome. All right. What's next? We've got this certificate here.
Perfect. So we're going to click on download certificate. That's going to go to the download files on your desktop. And that's going to be used in our next step. So make sure that you download that. And then
now, this is the kind of thing where if you were going to do multiple products, if you were going to just say, hey, I'm going to make one app that is my Vicasso apps certificate, this is these first 4 steps, that's making your Vicasso apps certificate. So now creating the connected app is its own set of steps. All right.
Exactly. So we're gonna stay where we are. We're gonna look in the quick find for App Manager. Click on App Manager. Perfect. And we want to do a new connected app in the top right. And for the new connected app name, again, I'm going to put case flags. And that's going to also read case flags for the API name. And for the contact email, you can put your own email. We verified that this does not, this isn't for alerting. This is more for if Salesforce has a question about this connected app, they can reach out to somebody, but anything about certificates expiring, anything else regarding the org, any errors, that's still going to go to your system admin. So that's what the contact email here is used for.
Yeah, the important thing to know is we don't use it. It's not for anything in terms of our own, for Vicaso's usage, and we won't know what your email address is in that connected app.
Correct. Yep, absolutely. So we're going to enable the OAuth settings checkbox. And then we're going to enter a callback URL. So this is not something that is used for anything. This is just required to get a connected app up and running. So for this example, and we have this example in our documentation as well, we're just going to do test.salesforce.com. And you can leave it at that. Again, not used for anything here. And then we're going to check the use digital signatures. This step is really important because this allows you to choose that file that you just downloaded to your desktop. So when you choose that file, I'm going to upload it and you're going to see that file name populate here. Very important step.
Yes.
Make sure that this gets
now, just to take a pause, for those of you that were nervous about these steps, we're like 3.5, 4 minutes into this process and we're more than halfway done. So it is like, don't be daunted by the number of steps. It's just a lot of just very meticulous, do this, get this right. The thing I will say to you is don't skip a step.
Yes, definitely. Don't skip any steps. So we've uploaded our digital signatures and we want to select our OAuth scopes. So there's two that we have listed. The first is move user data via API. So let me look for that one right here. I'm going to move that over. And the second is perform requests at any time. And again, these are listed in the documentation. You don't have to remember these. These are the two we're going to save. So we're going to uncheck this require proof key. Uncheck. And we're going to leave everything else checked as is.
All right. So now we're at click save. Yes. Click continue. Yes.
Perfect.
All right, let's take a little quick pause. Breathe, everyone. Breathe. You've done the difficult part, and now we're going to jump into the next piece, which is doing it in Lightning. Basically, what looks like Lightning App Builder, not Lightning App Builder, but the Manage Apps section. So, Megan, let's just jump back into that. Let's take a look here. You ready for that?
Absolutely. So you're going to see this changes can take up to 10 minutes to take effect. You can still complete these steps while that's happening. So you don't have to wait. You don't have to come back to this. You're just going to see that message. So now I'm going to click manage. And I'm going to click edit policies. And in the permitted users dropdown, I'm going to select admin approved users are pre-authorized. And I'm going to click OK. That's step 14. And save.
Awesome.
So now I'm going to scroll down to the profiles section and I'm going to click the manage profiles button. So in the application profile, I can choose any of the profiles for the people who will be configuring case flags through the setup wizard. This is most likely your system admin, but it may be something else. If you don't want to open up access to the entire profile, you can create a custom permission set called Case Flags Connected App or Vicaso Connected App with nothing in it. And then you can assign that permission set to that section of the page. So it's about how you want to do it. For this example, we're just going to assign this to the system admin.
Got it. It makes a lot of sense, keeps things pretty easy.
And click save. Perfect. So now I'm going to go back to App Manager. So I already have it in my lookup field, but if I wanted to type it again, I could click App Manager. And I'm going to go to Case Flags. You can see that connected app. There's going to be a little drop down and view. So now what we're doing here is we're getting that consumer key that we're going to put in the setup wizard. So what I'm going to do here is click manage consumer details. And what happens here, I don't think you guys saw it, it popped open. I'm going to be asked to verify my identity. So you're going to get an email with the 5-digit code, and I'm going to verify that code. So yeah, Howard, thanks for putting that up. I'm going to do that now. And
this is where we hum the theme to Jeopardy.
Yeah. I am who I say I am. All right, great. So we can hop back. You're going to see that consumer key. We've blurred it out, obviously, for security, and you're going to click that copy button. So if we hop back to my demo org, we're going back to our case flag setup, or I should say we're going to our case flag setup. Click in here. Perfect. So now in the general setup, you're going to see this connected app. If you are looking at your case flag setup right now and you don't see this, you're going to have to upgrade the app. We may want to make sure that you do, but this is where you'll see this in the general setup section. So I'm going to paste my consumer key and then put that certificate name. In our example, it's CF, and I'm going to save the credentials. You're going to get a successful, verified, and saved message, which is awesome. And then when I refresh the setup, I'm going to see now that expiration date is going to be a year from now at 5 a.m. So that's it. That's how it's configured. Pretty easy.
I feel like that's all the steps. Is that all the steps?
And that's it. Yeah, that's all the steps. Again, if you have another application, so if you have Email to Case Premium and you've configured an app, you can use those same credentials, or you can go through the steps again, make a second connected app, and you would just paste them like you did in the setup.
Well, that is awesome. So what's next? Now, there's a couple of questions that came through. Frankie had a question about Salesforce documentation to what all of the different scopes do. And also the question around, does it have to be all on the one profile? And Thais, in the chat, of course, there is a link. So if you're on LinkedIn, there is a link there. That's something that talks about the different scopes and stuff like that to get there. So as usual, Thais, thank you for taking care of that, sort of jumping in on the chat. That really that helps me out because I don't have to go searching for that while we're trying to do the live stream, of course. Yeah, so that's pretty great. What else? Let's see if there's any other questions that people may have. Megan, do you have any questions?
No questions. I just want to stress again that the documentation, it seems like a lot of steps, but as you saw, a lot of those steps are really just save, continue, making sure, again, this is detailed, right? You may have not, I know I certainly didn't set up a connected app before. So I'm going through the steps, first time trying to make sure I'm hitting those. So again, documentation looks long, but as you saw, it's very easy to configure just following the steps.
Got it. All right. Well, since I'm not seeing any additional questions in there, let us continue.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want your feedback. That doesn't have to be specific to the connected app, but anything that you're seeing that you have questions for us, or you just want to chat out an idea, we want your feedback. So you can always schedule time one-on-one with the product managers, with Howard. And you can also join our service experience group on the Trailblazer community. This is really important. If you're part of the Trailblazer community, this is where we post live streams like this one, maybe some more informal live stream documentation, just a lot happening in there. Highly recommend to join our service experience group.
Absolutely. And what happens if you run into any problems? I mean, like, is there a problem?
Yeah, absolutely. If you run into any problems, you see any errors, maybe you're watching this pack and doing this exactly, and it just doesn't look quite right, absolutely submit a case with us, either through self-service, chat, email, or phone. We want to help. We're happy to help, and we will definitely get back to you quick. So submit a case.
Got it. And well, let's see here. Oh gosh, Dreamforce. Are we going to Dreamforce?
We are, yes, absolutely. So we will be at Dreamforce. We're so excited. We have a booth. So once we have that information, we'll be sure to share it. But if you are going to Dreamforce, make sure to say hi, stop by the booth. We're really excited.
Nice. And, with that, I guess we just want to say thank you. It's always nice to see everybody here on a Friday morning. There is one more question from Frankie, which is what happens on the back end with the new certificate? I think what you mean is like when the certificate's updated, like when you get that refreshed, then okay, so we refresh the certificate. What do you have to do in, say, in the case flag setup?
Yeah, so in the setup, what you would have to do is if it expires, I think is what we're saying, if it expires and you need to refresh that certificate, you would just then re-upload or excuse me, resubmit the credentials and just hit save in the connected app. So again, we'll flash that caution sign that says like you need to re-upload your cert. You'll do that and then you'll just copy and paste those credentials again.
Got it. So that's actually a really easy part of the process because everything's already set up for you. So you're really just pasting in, you're downloading a file, you're pasting in those keys, and it's all pretty straightforward. The nice thing is, and this was something that we were really adamant about, it shows you an email to Case Premium. It shows you in Case Flags, the certificate has expired.
Yes.
So you're not going, why isn't this working? You actually have something that will help you with that. And it's easy enough to remedy. Let's see if there's any other questions, and I am not seeing. If we don't, Frankie says, if we don't do it and miss it, would that be bad? Actually, no. If you forget to do this and everything's working and you're not making any changes to settings, it really doesn't matter. It's only when you try to make changes to the settings in Case Flags and an email to Case Premium that it will say, oh, you can't make these changes because the certificate's not there. And then it's just a quick matter of taking 3 minutes and refreshing it, and then you're off to the races.
Yeah, so help yourself out, help future admins out. Just set aside, it's Friday. Just give yourself 15 minutes to set this up. You'll save yourself, some time later down the road.
Yep. Awesome. So with that, I think we're done. It's a nice Friday. We're going to take a little break. I've got a little note here that says like, hey, it's 23 minutes after. This was only going to take 22 minutes. But it's good questions. And thank you for those of you who showed up this morning. We really appreciate this. This will be, of course, available to people who they'll be able to see it on LinkedIn. They'll be able to see it on YouTube. Yes, very nice. I appreciate that. Frankie, thank you so much for just commenting all the way through. I know others that are watching, it's nice to see that. So yeah, I think at that point, what I'm going to say is, thank you to everybody. And Megan and I will get out of here and we will see you in the future.
Awesome. Happy Friday.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.